This book is called Undertow, and it's my last work, and in a way the most important book I've made until now. It started. The first impulse of this book is about 20 years ago, and all the work which is inside this book have never been made with the idea to make a book. Undertow means the waves which are going under the waves. This book is composed of two movements, of two different periods of my life. It's a very personal work, but it's not about me. I'm photographing and painting things which are touching myself, and trying to transform and to go to the essence of these things. During many years, I've been traveling around the world, living alone, and having a kind of relatively happy loneliness. I've been going from over the world to take pictures, and I've been trying to write a story which could be a kind of labyrinthic journey made of photo and metaphor and unexplained meeting and these kind of things. These paintings, 2 meters by 150. This is a metaphor you can find in Moby Dick, for example, a book which is very important to me too. One day, 8 years ago, I met this little girl and her mother. And these little girls were 3 years old, and she asked me if I can take care of her. And I say, it was a very big question. It was very strong, and I said yes. And everything has changed, and I've stopped to cross the world with my backpack and my camera, but I start to accept and to see what is it to be responsible of someone and what is to build a family. And she has took me with her also and showed me through her eyes and through also our own eyes, because now we are 4, what is also this journey. And the book is dedicated to her. And with my publisher, which is Blow Up Press from Warsaw, we have tried to make a book which is a kind of crossing and going back between these two movements. And there is moments of this writing which are marking some poems from these stories, and other moments where you lose the information that you will find again later. It's the idea to turn this story into archetypes and universal, of course. It's not anymore about me, about my life. It's about what this book is carrying for itself. I cannot explain every single images. I could, but also I really want and like that things stay secret, that things can have their own room and life and motive, that we can pass inside or nearby. It's also possible. The book is made of photographs, still from movies and drawings. There is a little text at the end. I work with film in the darkroom. I work, and it's a very important part of my work. I work with my hands. And this is one of the connections you can have with the drawings and the photographs. Of course, some techniques have limits, and for me, I'm very lucky I can have different techniques, because when I lose something on one side, I can try to find it on the other side. No one is there to explain the one before, but they are creating a dialogue. One of the big points for this book, it was also to make them dialogue also with the question of size and scale. I work on paper for the drawings, sometimes very small, sometimes very big. And the reproduction, the size reproduction was a big issue for this book, to do not make something graphic and only aesthetic, but something you can dive in it. And some photograph can be reduced a lot, and it's not always the case for the drawings. For example, from this page, we decided to enlarge the size of the book because the original drawings are very big, and I didn't want it to have them on the size of one page. I work also, yes, with Super 8, with film, and I'm not a filmmaker. I always use the film camera, for single images. And now I'm starting to change a little bit to try to also work with the movement. But this is for another project. It's not about this book. Most of my connections are more with painting. I go to museums as much as I can, and usually I go to see the old masters and Renaissance paintings and Rembrandt and Goya, and they are my education. And I go to the museum and I draw, looking at paintings. And in this kind of case, of course, this is a very personal moment in the little river in the south of France. And to put them with this strange figure, with this eye watching, I don't need to explain what it is from, but I think about like topics from the paintings, like the Betsabe painting with the old guys looking. I like this kind of secret references, and there is many in the book. I don't have to tell them, but it's also the way I'm writing, and these small doors to what's made me see and what I see and live how I live, and to transform this into my own music. In this book, the paper, there is two kinds of paper, and the paper have the same temperature, the same warmness, but the paper for the drawing is a bit thinner, and it creates this kind of transparency when you turn the page. And I like this idea of erasing something and to not quit completely, and to create also some dialogues, like in this case, for example. This book is made of pictures. Some of them are very, very old, and this one, for example, is a picture I took when I was myself a teenager, and starting with photography, and there's this little kids on it. I was maybe a bit older than them, but not that much. And I like this going back in time. I like this labyrinth. I like that there is no information of place or time. I started with photography. I wanted to be photojournalist. It was my model where from this kind of way to work. And I've tried to do it. I made it a little bit until I realized that I'm not able. I'm not also maybe not courageous enough. I'm not good for that. And per à my work have developed itself in another dimension, and trying to go more about things which are evocating points which are always there and not close to an event or one culture. Of course, I have my stories and I have my roots who bring me to some points more than to other points. And it was very important to me, after all these years, working with these images. With some of them have been sometimes used for other projects, for exhibition, even some of them for other publication. But they are here like words that have different meaning if you use them in one context or another one. And this book is for me the final way to put them together. about also the process, creation and the writing. I've been years long trying to write stories with photographs. When I found this publisher and we understand that we are on the same line to make this book together, it was very comfortable to me to realize that they really understand what I want. And they proposed me a layout that it was exactly what I wanted. They made exactly the book I wanted to do, but I would have never done without them. To edit and to make a work into a book or an exhibition, it's a work in itself. And it's always very, very important and good to have someone who's able to translate the feeling and the intentions into forms. This is the last picture, and it's the only one in color. And it's maybe a door to the next things coming, I don't know. And then there is almost no words in this book, except this little sentence, which is not so little, which is extract from a book who really changed many things for me, from Malcolm Lowry, and which I think is a very beautiful and poetic way to describe the movement of this book. I asked a friend, Marie Bélanger, which is writer and painter, if she would agree to write something about the book. When the first beginning of this thought to make a book almost 15 years, 20 years ago, she was already involved thinking about the text accompanying. And then everything, it was a long way, and when it was finally going to be done, this is someone who knows my work very well, and I think it's a very beautiful echo to the pictures in English and in French. Of course, this book has a long list of people technically and emotionally involved in this book. And this is made in the Donau Delta in Romania. And this is a place where the waves from the Danube River crossing the Black Sea raves and creating these crossing waves. And this is also this double movement that I have used for the book. And on the back side, I can also do like this. So it's a piece of a painting it's an interpretation, of course. It has been printed with this silver ink, black. I can show you the painting is here on the wall, which has been used for the cover. And I like also that you can open it because you always have a little details which you can dive, but you can also travel and always discover other things.